Só. Eu estou só. No meio de tanta gente. Você flutua na minha mente e eu continuo só. Eu e minha liberdade andamos juntos e só. Mas quando um olhar sincero me enche de emoção, quando dentro do meu peito um novo amor começa a habitar, aí sim nós nos separamos e é hora de amar.
You may not believe what has happened just now. I have fled from my own dining table, a table at which I was not altogether happy. Although Charlotte Bleasdale did not make me unhappy, she's Brazilian and beautiful and extremely discreet. It was a terrible commotion. They all fled for one moment. Everybody to the coaches at the door, like rats from a galley. And I to the limited security of this room, if you could call it a room. I say limited security because Mr. Turlough Carolan is somewhere out in the dark, playing his instrument. It was my birthday today, see, and I got a string hat. I'm dressed to be sociable. I agreed for once to spend this evening in company with the Bishop of Clogher. He's 91. And Mr. Klein, he's a journalist from Dublin. Oh, a nice man, which is to say a man of nasty ideas. And Mrs. Winters, the English lady, who lost her husband in the bath. He was a small man. And last but not least, the beautiful Miss Charlotte Bleasdale. I was watching Miss Bleasdale. On the minus side, Mrs. Winters was watching me. And then she made a move across the room. She went,
I'm not familiar with your work, Dr. Swift. I believe you write pamphlets.
Those were the first words from her mouth. Talk about getting me now on the wrong foot. Madam, I said, the whole fucking world knows Jonathan Swift. Only yesterday, one of the English papers described the Dean of St. Patrick's preaching like the collapse of an empire.
And she said, whatever do you mean?
What do I mean? Madam, I said, do you know Samuel Johnson, a very famous man, Samuel? Well, Samuel Johnson once met me on the street, and he took off his hat with a bow of surly recognition, and then he scanned me from head to foot and immediately passed over to the other side of the street. Does that give you the picture, Mrs. Winters?
He disliked you, perhaps.
Christ, woman, the entire world dislikes me. I even dislike myself. Did you not see that elm tree on the right as you came in, madam? Withered at the top. Well, that's me. I shall rot from the top down to the roots.
She says, I'm not quite following you, Dr. Swift, but why should the great Dr. Tubster dislike your company?
Perhaps, madam, I said, because like you, he's an English fool. And after that altercation, my guests began to resemble moulders in a mortuary, and they gazed at me as if I might be the corpse. But they were disappointed in me having died on them. And the bishop, he actually took me aside. He said, well, Dr. Swift, do come here, sir. He said, your problem is to be incautious with the truth. You lack discretion. He said, try to be jolly. Have a little frivolity. And go over to Mrs. Winters and apologize. So I went across the room to where Mrs. Winters was still standing by the mantelpiece, and I said, Madam, I said, my good Lord the Bishop has just admonished me for being blunt, so I do apologise. me, I've almost exhausted myself in seeking to improve the general standard of manners and conversation in this kingdom. Miss Bleasdale was grinning at me like a Cheshire cat, and Mr. Clyde was grinning at Miss Bleasdale like a larger cat, and Mrs. Winters was gazing at Mr. Clyde. In fact, at that moment we were all together grinning. You see, I knew this was going to result in laughter, and I don't like laughter. The trouble is there's a natural involuntary distortion of the muscle, which is the anatomical cause of laughter. But there's also a more remote, a more profound cause of laughter, a foundation upon which all laughter is constructed, and that is good taste. When refined ladies and gentlemen of this kingdom assemble and sniff each other and approve of each other, there's a general flush of delight which issues in grinning and flowers in laughter. And if we were to judge by the laughter here this evening, we could say that everything in this place was conducted on good taste, because we were all grinning. Except for him, Turlough Carolan. His pus rarely radiates a grin. He enjoys more the grimace of the afflicted. But he did arrive a little later, and unexpected, and he was half drunk, and he was not seen as good taste. You see, he's a Roman Catholic. A papist, he's risen so high in society, we just have to have him at the table. But needless to say, we're all constantly appalled by his prudence, his poor manners. The point I'm coming to is that the society of refined ladies and gentlemen requires only one single thing, and that is teeth.